Hi, and welcome to today's session. I am Gilles Brito. I'm a hypnotist, psychotherapist, and coach that lives and works in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. And the point of today's presentation, or today's little video, is around it's around a phenomena that some of my clients have experienced over the years in terms of helping them with the concept of spirituality. Now, a lot of times, especially when you're working in addictions, some clients have real difficulty with the God concept, especially if they go to self-help meetings, because it's kind of repeated and peppered through the 12 steps. But I've had certain clients say, it's just kind of interesting, or it's just kind of a coincidence that I find myself here in your office when I didn't know you were an expert in addictions. Or it's just interesting that it's just a coincidence that I've ran into this person who knew you or whatnot, and then I find myself here looking for help. So the question of coincidence, or the concept of coincidence, brings me back to really early on in my career. This is when I was at Rockhaven here in Sudbury. And my employer, Bill, was wonderful in terms of sending me to different workshops. And I went to one in Aurora, and there was a lot of, it was building counseling skills, and there was a lot of different workshops along the wall so that we can determine which one we wanted to go into. And so I decided to go into one called AA and Spirituality. And the reason why I decided to go into that one is it was probably the one that I either struggled with or knew the least about. I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, but I'm not in recovery myself, meaning I've never had a problem with addictions in the past to drugs and alcohol. But I made a choice in 1990 to stop drinking. So it was really the one kind of dimension that I didn't know too much about, and I knew that a lot of my clients face that similar issue or dilemma. So I go into the workshop, and there's just one fellow, and I kind of said, interesting topic, nobody shows up to these workshops, and he's like, not to my topic. And I said, well, did you want to still engage in the conversation? And he said, absolutely. So he just kind of threw out some general questions to me about what's my belief on spirituality and all that kind of stuff. And so I rambled on like I usually do. If any of you watch my YouTube channel, you know that's the truth. And so I rambled on probably for the next 15 minutes or so about my problems with spirituality and being raised Roman Catholic and what all that entailed. And he stopped me at one point and he says, Gilles, I should let you know I'm a Roman Catholic priest. Now you can imagine I felt like, can I have some salt for my other foot as I gently inserted into my mouth. And he said, no, understand that I've also had problems with God. And that kind of stunned me because I went, you had problems with God, but you're a priest. He said, yes, but, I'm also actively in recovery, and when I was still drinking, most of my parishioners wanted me kind of outside of the seminary. So it was just fascinating. It was just a wonderful man, and just talking about his own experiences. And he stopped me a second time, and he says, well, you seem to be a very logical guy, like you use logic a lot. But I want to ask you a question. So I was a little nervous, and I said, okay. And he says, have you ever had a client that was on the path to the drug dealer's house and they see an old friend, or they knew they were going to die by suicide because that was their choice that night, and they ran into something or someone and it just saved their life? And I said, yeah, that happens a lot, especially in my field. And he says, so what do you call those instances? I don't know, dumb luck, I guess. And he's like, can we call it a coincidence? Yeah, sure. And he says, now, I'd like you to define for me what a coincidence is. Talk about being put on the spot. So I kind of stumbled a little bit, and I kind of went, I don't know, like dumb luck. And he said, well, I'm going to give you what a coincidence means to me, and I just want you to let it sink in. So I'm going to repeat it twice for you. So I'm going to do the same for you. So he said to me, he said, a coincidence is a miracle to which God remains nameless. A coincidence is a miracle to which God remains nameless. It's like, right. It's a coincidence that you turn right instead of left when you were seeing that person from your past. It's a coincidence that that person didn't go and complete their suicide. It's a coincidence that, you found your way to me today. And you, the viewer, that you found your way to me on this particular topic today. Coincidence. And he said that may be helpful for your clients who really struggles with that concept, because it allows them to see that maybe there's a force greater than them that's kind of guiding them towards change. I thought it was a wonderful way to kind of present an idea. I've used it ever since. I've used it with clients. And it's kind of a great way for them to feel like maybe this is just greater than me. Maybe that I need help today. So that's it. That's my message for today. Just a little story that I've picked up and that I've retained for many years, and that it's been really helpful in clients' journeys to wellness. So I hope that it's helped you today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a like or a comment, and I'll talk to you soon.